Everyone. So you guys actually caught me at a wonderful time for these last couple of weeks or next couple of weeks. I'm transitioned to a new role, so I took some time off, got to spend some time with my little girl, and she is definitely um, teaching me a lot of things daily. But one of the things that she definitely helps me with is um, putting together things to help you think about ways to really master and become stronger financially. And one of those things, just while I was playing with her and figuring out things, was money myths. What are things we typically believe about money that really are misguided and sometimes just untrue? So I want to talk a little bit about that today. I hope you guys are enjoying the group. If you appreciate everyone who's a part of the group, if you haven't already, share the group on your page, invite your friends and family. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe. Appreciate your support there. And it's all about helping to reach more people to give them clarity. Maybe this message can help someone else in their financial journey. So, oftentimes, and especially during this time, as we are in the midst of economic recovery and trying to build back, more people trying to get back to work, more households trying to get their foot on solid ground financially, it's important that we start to really understand true mastery of the skills that's needed to be successful with your money. And a lot of this kind of goes without saying. We know the average income, average household income here in the U.S. is 61,000. We know 6 out of 10 people live paycheck to paycheck, meaning if they miss a paycheck, they would somehow begin to fall off financially within that next month. They only have enough money right now to pay that month's bills as long as that paycheck is coming in. And then another 30% from a statistical standpoint couldn't put their hands on $400 if a $400 emergency comes up. And in the economy state now, the smallest thing could actually run you $400, something that probably would have been 100, $150 2, 3 years ago. It's probably about $400, $500, and it adds up so quickly. So, what are things that we believe, and how does that necessarily affect our money? Well, first of all, it's understanding that number one, you do actually need to know what you have coming into the home and where is it all going. So, whether you want to call it a cash flow plan, whether you want to call it a budget, some type of organization to your money, put on paper, whether you're using an app, however you choose to use it. The fact of the matter is, you need to know how much you got coming in, what do you have to pay going out, and while you're looking at that organization, you're putting that all together. What can you do, and how can you shift this boat of your finances to go in the direction that you want to go? So, first, you have to have a plan. You have to have some goal. And behind your plan or in front of your plan or however you want to look at it, you have to have a goal that you're necessarily trying to reach. So whether it's just trying to get a quick $1,000 in the bank or 10 grand, or maybe you're trying to save up for a house, or maybe you just want a little bit more margin to relax and enjoy your life a little bit, you need to understand what's coming in and what's going out. And then the next level to that plan is, once you've gotten your plan, the first time you do it, yeah, it takes some time because you're gathering all this information. You're looking up your debt, you're looking up your account balances, you're looking up who all you different pay. The next thing you have to do is you want to start to get in front of things. The whole point of a plan is so that you set in motion how you're going to take step by step. And then you start to move thinking, okay, I know I'm gonna have to do this, but also I know it's Susie's birthday, and I know we want to do something special this year for because this is a big birthday numerically. Or we have a family vacation coming up. Oh, we're gonna need some travel arrangements. We're gonna need some money for enjoying things. Or hey, it's Christmas, or kids got to go back to school. Some of these things you can start to be proactive about and start to look at things from getting in front of things before it happens to you. See, a lot of times, like we get so excited about our plans, and a lot of times, to be honest, life just comes up. And as you start to move from your 20s to your 30s, and your life starts to get a little bit more complex, meaning maybe you have a kid by now, maybe you have marriage. When you start to add those other factors into your life, more challenges start to come up. And even if you don't have those factors, it seems the older you get, the more challenges you have financially that will come up that you're just unaware of. And if you're in a home scenario, it's the same thing as having a kid. Anything, if that kid opens the door, it seems like they have to spend money for something, and you don't mind spending and supporting your child, but also depending on what your financial situation looks like, that may actually take away from what you plan to do for yourself. So it's important that you have the actual plan. It's important that you have a goal, but it's also very, very important that you see these numbers and you see your situation so you can be realistic about the decisions that you need to make. And yeah, sometimes that just will be challenging because sometimes you have to make decisions that you do not want to do. Second, really understand the realness of this 60% of Americans in the paycheck to paycheck. This uh, average household family makes about $61,000, and that may not be enough considering what average household is. Typically, average household is about a wife, kids, or four person, two kids, husband or wife is considered average household. The fact that four people live on $61,000 a year on average, that is a tight budget. That is a tight financial scenario. And I pose a lot of questions about the savings piece because right now, as I'm looking to try to really help you, part of what's going to get you forward is your ability to save. And part of getting you to savings is for you to actually have that money. And as somebody who's gone through a lot of these different challenges, I realized to save long term, and for me to want you to save long term, I have to help you make it sustainable. Meaning, you can't go to work and just save. That's impossible to expect you to do that forever. Because your life will seem short-lived. It could actually mess with your mental health, and not enjoying fruits of your labor is a piece of a challenge that most uh, have with building wealth, because you get so caught up in building wealth, and wealth is more of a distant future. But if you can have a plan where you're creating and building wealth and you're saving, but you're still enjoying the present moment with your money, that seems to be the recipe that keeps people on that track long term. And as you go further down that path, you'll see how wealth opens up the doors of flexibility and autonomy for you. So understanding that many people live paycheck to paycheck means likely your husband, I'm sorry, likely your friends, likely your family members, 6 out of 10 people you know probably are struggling financially just as you are. It's a very real thing in the US economy. And then adding to that most people have different forms of debt: credit card debt, student loan debt, car loan debt. Adding those extra pieces for me tells me that that's why you're having such a tight squeeze. Why do you have to consider living this way? Do you have to continue down this path? What needs to happen here? Well, first, again, you need to stop and dispel certain things. Number one, credit has always, when proposed to us since its inception, since Bank Americard came out with the first card, credit has always been a sexy thing. People don't like the debt. They love using the credit. They don't like the debt. As Alternatively, people like investors. They like stocks. That's sexy. But the savings piece is boring. The savings piece is monotonous. The saving piece doesn't have any zeal to it. So how do you try to get hold of some of these beliefs. Number one, it does take a while with investments, whether you're in a business, whether you're in real estate, whether you're in stock market. It does take a while with it because things you learn, things in the investment in the stock market, you have to build up that pot of money. Everyone doesn't start off with 200K to then propel them forward with great momentum. But even if they did start off with 200K, you still have to wait and allow the stock market to do some things to pick up steam with that compound interest before you see the start tangible result. Still could be 7+ years before you see that double and compound. Real estate, same thing. It has a slow growth when you're starting from scratch. It doesn't go up remarkably like the real estate market is going up now. That's not a normal thing. It's a exception. It's not the new tone that all real estate is going to do that. No, this is just this moment in time. And then once this moment calms down, it'll go back to its regular rates of growth. Paying off a mortgage, same thing. It still takes time to do those things. Building a business, same thing. It still takes time to do those things. So understand that no matter which pathway you go, there's no quick fix and no quick route to success. And you have to look at things from a long-term view and understand that first, internally, it is your choice. Am I trying to create financial freedom? Not just for myself, but maybe it's only for, if only for yourself. Am I trying to do that? If I'm trying to do that, then it's going to take a while for me to get there, no matter what path I take. And I have to be okay with it taking a while. The good thing is, again, as you start to pursue solid financial freedom, it can go ahead and help you start to enjoy a lot more of the present so you don't get to the end of the road when this thing finally you're finally multimillionaire, you got the assets and all that, but you can't really enjoy it like you want to. You passed up a whole lot of things. That's not necessarily the case. It does open up the opportunity along the way as long as you continue to make solid, good decisions. Second thing I want you to think about is in terms of credit, you will never get ahead paying extra on multiple lines at one time. You will only get ahead of your debt with credit by paying all the extra to one debt at a time. That's how you get ahead of your debt each time. You put everything you got, all the extra you can do with one debt at a time. And you can do it however, you can pick however, which way you want to pay it. That doesn't matter. But as long as you're not paying extra multiple debts, you're paying 25, you got one minimum that's 25, 150, you're paying 200 on one, you're paying 50 on the other. That's not going to get you ahead. You need to pay the extra 75 to one full debt at a time, and it will begin to help you get ahead. On the other side of credit, with your credit cards, paying off gets you ahead faster every month. You don't need to carry a balance every month just to trip your credit score. That's false, inaccurate information. It will not impact your score. In fact, my score went up more when I was paying off my credit card balance every month, and that increases your lendability, that increases your own financial fitness because you're not carrying a balance. It's same as cash. It's the same exact thing. But the true aspect of this debt piece and the numbers that people are really taking the numbers of people that are typically paying credit card debt and struggling with it are people that are in tighter financial situations. But to be honest, whether your income is 150, whether your income is 60, the fact is 6 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck because they're simply just overextended from credit. And what it means is to have too many payments come out every month. And because you have too many payments, basically you're paying for decisions of the past. You have no money to put towards your future because you're still paying for things. Still paying for things you did 5 years ago. Just think about that. In a relationship, it's hard for you to have a relationship and progress forward when you're still on things of the past. You cannot apologize and keep bringing up the past and expect the relationship to move forward. Money oftentimes works the same way. It's important that you understand that those payments is what's killing you. That's why if you've ever talked to me outside of the group, and I encourage you, utilize me as much as a resource. I'm here to help you. But the fact is, when I talk to people, I'm listening and I'm looking at how many payments they have. Because if you subtract the payments that are unnecessary, obviously you got to pay electric, obviously you got to pay gas, obviously you got to pay your mortgage or rent, things of that nature. But even something as simple as not having to pay your car insurance monthly, not paying for your cell phone. You have to pay for the cell phone bill, but you don't have to pay for your cell phone. If you don't have to pay for these things, that frees up cash for you to be able to move forward. And when you're able to move forward, I just got through talking about with the budget, being proactive. Being proactive means you actually have the money available to take care of things, number one, as they come up, but because you're saving, you're already prepared for when something does come up that you wasn't really thinking about. You cannot get ahead paying things of the past. You will not, it will always be a vicious cycle that you never really got caught up. And that's essentially what it is. That's what credit card debt and car loan debt and all those things represent. It represents that you haven't moved on from a bad financial decision. That's why, in order to fix a lot of situations, yeah, people say sell the thing or really focus all your attention on and focus on getting rid of that debt because it allows you to now move forward and now you can be proactive ahead of a problem before it comes. That's how business move forward. That's how homes move forward, and that's how you can actually move forward. And if you think about it, and I really exercise people because I did it myself. When you look at how much you're making in extra payments that are not needs, that are just things, how much extra money do you have? Because the fact is, if you're used to living a decent life with how your life is right now, you're living paycheck to paycheck. If you shift the payments that you were making, if you got rid of those payments and those payments are now your savings module and you're still living your core life, now you're enjoying your life, but you can enjoy your life a lot better because you have your money working with you to move forward. You have your money investing. You have your money trying to build investment property, build a business, whatever you choose to do with your money that helps it move forward. You now have that opportunity because you got rid of payment. So the myth that you need to pay a little bit extra on it, that's old school way of thinking. The true definition of how you're going to get yourself out of debt is focus all your extra money on one debt at a time. Don't care if you pay highest interest rate first. Don't care if you pay lowest debt first. I don't care if you pay largest amount first. When you're first getting started, focus on one debt at a time. Focus on one debt at a time and focus all your extra money on that one debt. And it will propel you a lot faster through all the rest of the debts. Next, the savings and investing piece. Yes, saving can be a interesting thing, but one of the things that, yeah, most people do like it, but sometimes everyone's not a natural saver. It's a forced thing. Me, I was a spender turned saver. I'm a recovering spender. I'm the guy who every season, as the season changed, I went out and got wardrobe. I remember when I took clothing out of my budget, and I haven't put it back since because I simply just don't typically buy new clothes. I don't go to the mall. I don't, you know what I'm saying, go places. And even when I go to the mall, I can't even justify in my head the reason of spending stuff because at this point, my clothes are still in good shape. Nothing looks terrible. And after COVID, a lot of the clothes that I have, I can't even necessarily use now. So I would encourage you really think about what you're buying, who you're buying for, why you're buying it, what is propelling you to that. We all have to think about, you don't have to spend money every day. You really don't. But the thing is, I want you to understand that whatever you set in your sights for, maybe you want to get to 500K a year, maybe you want to have $1 million in assets. I don't really care what it doesn't really matter to me what your end goal is from an income overall perspective. But What you can do is break that down to from where you're at. If you're making 40K, I want you to think about how can I get to the next 50? How can I get to the next 60? With right now, where the market is, that may be simply a job change. I know you hear me talk about that a lot, but that's one of the good things about COVID, right? Right now, I saw a report that this is like in the recession is always a good time, and it's just like in 2008. That's when people oftentimes go to school and they get new skills to come back for when the economy picks up. Well, COVID is a little bit different because school uh, enrollments are actually down consistently. It's in the older age group. And the reason for that, one of the reasons for that is there's a lot of pivoting that's going on in organizations that school may not be necessary, but you just need to change how you're doing things and be prepared for that next role. But right now, there is a job shortage in all different facets of the economy to where you can actually go out and get a potential raise, probably for the same thing that you're doing. What is your goal? More money is going to help your scenario. It's not going to fix your problem. More money just gives you more of a solution to be able to handle your problem. But if you have a struggle managing your money and keeping yourself in check, that's not going to fix with more money. In fact, it's going to exacerbate your problem. It's going to make it work. So I would encourage you to understand that you do need to make more money. You need to progressively do that. Then you have to be real with the scenario of, simply put, do I make enough money right now? If you know you don't make enough money right now, stop or dispel the idea that you can't make enough money. You dispel the idea that you can't, the myth that you can't make money doing what you like to do, that you can't make more money doing what you're doing now. You can't, you actually can. And then now we're in a spot where work flexibility, that's probably the number one skill of 2020 to 2021. So if you're really after working from home or trying to manage it, this is the time to secure that next role and put yourself in position. You can ask for more money. You can go after more money. You can make your situation better. But the fact is, you have to figure out what's your disbeliefs. These are just some of the basics, but it can be helpful for you long term. The last thing I want to cover is the stock market. Obviously, with cryptocurrency and me personally, I haven't begun to invest in cryptocurrency because I'm a little bit more focused on my investment plan because I'm comfortable with my investment plan. I I have thoughts about investing in crypto, but I know I can take the hit. Whether you're investing for the short term, and when you're investing for the short term, you need to be able to take the financial hit. And oftentimes, you have to think about, what if I lost this money tomorrow? Would that matter to me? How quickly would it take for me to get that back? That's important for you to understand how fast it will take for you to make that. Evaluate your money decision, evaluate your spending decision of how hard and how much time did it take for me to make this money I'm about to spend. Ask yourself that question. It's more of accountability standpoint, so you're aware and just to keep yourself in check about the decisions you're making every day. But when it comes to investing, you really do need to get yourself on track. The foundation for investments is first retirement. You first secure your financial future. Then you can start to enhance your present. Once you can get your retirement on track, that means you can pull back that extra or whatever you're doing to move forward. Now, the thing is, retirement, the reason why that has ambiguity and you can't really sometimes get straightforward information about that is because everybody wants different things out of retirement. I watched the story of a young guy who did the fire movement. He unmasked a 500K nest egg off $40,000 a year as a teacher. He was saving $20,000 a year for 10 years, and that's how he got to 500K. And he's living off that now, off the 4% of that portfolio, got his bills low, and he's very happy. That might not be the lifestyle you're after. Maybe you're after a larger lifestyle. Whatever the case may be, once you know that number, then you have to look at, okay, how much saving have I done, or how much do I need to save to get that on track? Once you can fix that issue, after you get on track for your retirement, that's when your real wealth building begins, because now you can start putting your money into things of the present. But you've secured your financial future. No matter what's going on, you've already secured it because you have a plan and you're on track for it. Some people are already to the point of, hey, if I don't invest anymore, and you don't know this, but if you don't invest anymore, you may still be all right. But you don't know that. You need to know that because that helps your money decision. Because you're oftentimes so scared to cut off your 401k to help you in your present because you don't want to mess up your future. But what if you're on track? That can help you fix your scenario right now and put you in a better opportunity to build wealth and build more wealth faster. So I would encourage you, really think about where you are, what do you believe. Start sharing some of the things you believe. Share it in the comments. Share some of the things you've heard. Let's really start to pick apart these things, not to say this is the right way, but let's truth be told. And the fact is, if you're making 100 grand or 20 grand or what have you, you should. Can you go put your money hand on your salary right now, or can you go put your hand on not borrowing in your hand on that money cash in your bank account right now? It's important that you understand how you're doing financially. And one of the biggest things that you can do is, yes, writing it down, but also clearing up the misunderstanding of what you think about money. Money can be a lot easier for you, but you do have to clear some things out the way. And the more you do the correct habits and the more you do this over time with time built in, it will reward you through more capacity. It will reward you through increases. It will reward you with uh, more margin than you can have to do with, to the point where you realize that you really are good, that you have different options. And that's what you're aiming for. I'm not getting rid of your problems. You're going to have new problems when you get money, but it's giving you different options. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you haven't already, please invite your friends and family to the group. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.